I have some Lake Louie. The can is open, so I can't tip it toward the camera fully, but this is a Scotch ale made in Wisconsin. I think the brewery is over in Verona. Where does it say? Don't drink this if you're... Oh yeah, it's made in Verona, Wisconsin, which is where Epic Systems is. Also, don't drink it if you're pregnant or something. Yeah, so I thought maybe I would do some drunken repair. Although, I'm not drunk. Yet. Okay, so last week, I was at my mom's visiting because I was in the neighborhood, and I had to drop off my niece because she had been staying with me again. So I dropped off my niece, and then my Uncle Bud was there, for whom the cat is named. And so I'm like, hey, let's go explore the garage, because this is such a trite story. Many years ago, my stepdad gave me one of these. It's a Hoyt drill bit index. Very nice. American made. Some of the small bits I had to replace. Anyway, I'm like, wow, where did you get this? He's like, I got it from a telemarketer. So I guess he's the kind of old man who responds to a telemarketer. But then he gave me a second one of those. So I actually have two of those. Oh, but the plot thickens. He actually has three of them. Or had, because he's dead now. See, I'm very glib about death. I have this giant Irish Catholic family. I have 36 first cousins. So I've got like 9 aunts and uncles, including my mom. That's just on my mom's side. Just so much death, whatever, death. Yeah, so anyway, I got off topic there. Oh yeah, I'm glib about death. So I'm always kind of wondering, where are all the tools? Because my dad was a mechanic. My stepdad was a contractor, so I still haven't found all the tools. We did find all the guns though. Anyway, so Bud and I, my uncle, were digging around my mom's garage, which is this really ratty old garage. I think it was there before they even bought the house. They really should tear it down. But I was looking for treasures, I was looking for the fabled third drill bit index. Oh, it's Imperial, by the way. I have a metric one too, for all you European people. Anyway, I found this in the garage. It's my lunchbox from when I was in grade school, and of course, it's Indiana Jones. There's no thermos. That must have been lost a long time ago. Oh, I also found this in the garage. I must have bought this when I was a kid, a voice record playback IC. It says, requires additional components and skill in project assembly, which is why young Ben wouldn't have been able to figure it out. That's pretty expensive. Well, let's take a look at this lunchbox. It's got some nice patina. Yeah. It's got Indiana Jones there. I don't know if that shot was actually in the movie. Obviously, that's at the end with the bridge. And see how they've rotoscoped the name of the movie behind his head, just like in the beginning where they rotoscope the name of the movie behind... what's her name? Kate Capshaw. And then she marries Steven Spielberg. So that's when the water comes through. The back, this composition is not as good because there's just so much darkness around them. This, what I mean? I'm saying this action scene doesn't really fit the shot very well. I think what might have been cooler is like a wide angle of like the mines where the kids were digging. We got Mola Ram on one side. I should probably drink some beer. Mola Ram shot today. Man, this was such not a good movie for kids, but we watched it all the time. I think I was 8 when this movie came out. On the top, I think that's Indiana Jones. Oh yeah, that's Indiana Jones punching the priest guy, right? See? And then he puts the priest onto the wheel and he gets crushed. I think there's even graphics on the bottom. Oh, it's when they're in that booby trap where the cave is coming in. That's actually appropriate. It's on the bottom of the lunchbox because it's like the lunchbox or the two sides of the cave squishing them. Well, actually, only the roof of the cave was moving. Yeah, it was 1984. So it's an original lunchbox. Yeah, it's made out of. I assume it's steel. Yes, it's made out of steel. So yeah, this is. It's gotta have a good steel lunchbox, hit bullies over the head with it. So yeah, I thought this was really cool. And actually the handle appears intact, plastic handle. Yeah, so I just thought that was really cool. So I was like, well, I couldn't find, unlike Indiana Jones, I couldn't find the third drill bit index, but I found that treasure instead. Oh man, there was a really nice Milwaukee Sawzall in there. Oh, and I was like, oh, what a nice Milwaukee Sawzall. And then my uncle's like, I still use that to help your mother chop up bushes and stuff. And leave a comment below about how I don't help my mother chop up bushes. Hey, you know, Bud's retired, he needs something to do. Help to carry a bunch of plants. All right, so someone sent me this. The Executive Boss, which stands for Business Organizer Scheduling System. It's interesting because it has a 4-color display or color display, kind of like one of the calculators we talked about on this YouTube channel. Yeah, apparently this doesn't work, so I'm gonna drink beer and fix it. So you'll probably be shocked to know that even though I quote Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade a lot, it is not my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I think it is the second worst Indiana Jones movie, actually. I know it's hard to believe. Yes, I'm one of those weirdos that likes Temple of Doom more than Last Crusade. There's actually a lot of weirdos like that. Our numbers are legion. Wow, looks like this thing was barely used. Whoa, that's a really interesting way to put a manual together for the time. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen one hinged like that. It's usually like that. I mean, Last Crusade is kind of like Raiders redone, I think, because, you know, there was some pushback to all the violence and gore in Temple of Doom, so they kind of softened it up. I mean, obviously I love Last Crusade as well, but I just like how dark Temple of Doom is. And apparently, what's his face? Lucas was going through a divorce when they made that movie, so that's one of the reasons it's dark. He's like, my wife has divorced me. I'm upset. Let's have a movie with child slavery in it. I love that part though, where after Indy gets unbrainwashed, and Short Round's like, or no, is it Short Round or? Oh no, it's Willie Scott. She's like, let's get out of here. And then Indiana Jones is like, right, all of us. And then it cuts to like that guy whipping the kid, and then he looks over and Indiana Jones is standing there, and then you just hear bam, and then you see the guy go flying and all the kids scream. It's like, yeah! Indiana Jones is the ultimate man. Time to blow your mind. 20 is the diameter in millimeters, 2.5 is the thickness in millimeters, 2.5, so 20 by 2.5. That's what that number means. Okay, so we're looking for Goodwill battery acid. I don't see it. All right. Wait a minute. I wonder if this battery being dead was the only thing keeping it from booting up. It does not turn on. Wait a minute, though. they jump out of the airplane with the raft, which looks really fake because it's obviously like a sack of potatoes in a raft, and then they throw it out of an airplane. And there's a pretty janky composition shot of the raft landing, and then in the background the plane hits a mountain and explodes, and it's really cool. Even though, if you see it in Blu-ray, the film stocks are pretty jittery. But it's like, how does a plane blow up? I thought they were out of gas. What was the last James Bond movie? Spectre? Oh, that movie sucked. But it's like, Mr. Bond, you may not have guessed this, but I am Blowfield. I have a solar power plant of solar power. Oh, it must be some sort of data port. I have a solar powered evil base, but when it explodes, it will have a bunch of gasoline explosions, even though it's solar powered. You know what really triggered me in that movie? Well, aside the fact that it was dumb. Well, a bunch of things. Like that really slow speed chase in Rome, because that's obviously the only kind of permit they could get. But in the secret base, Blowfield. I mean, obviously Jeremy Waltz is awesome, but I'm sorry, Christoph Waltz is awesome, but he's got that machine where he's gonna stick that drill bit into James Bond to brainwash him or something, and the drill bit is like so thin. It's like, oh my gosh, that would break so easily. If you could break that bit sticking into butter, let alone a human. Well, I guess it depends. The flesh or whatever. Oh, speaking of flesh, my thumb is. Well, I mean, it's gonna have a scar, obviously, but it's pretty much healed. Seeing the V cut right there, so yeah, it was like, that's what happened. It's stiff. I mean, there's some scar tissue inside because that's where the flap was reconnected. But I guess it's better than having a chunk missing from my thumb. I don't know which one was it where he had to fight the kimono dragon. Was that Skyfall, which was also stupid, but people thought it was good because it had good cinematography? I guess like that whole scene, the scene where he goes to, I don't know, whatever country that was, where he goes in the pit with the kimono dragon. Apparently for some reason, Daniel Craig wanted to wear gloves in that scene, and he wouldn't take them off. So in post-production, they actually had to CGI human hands onto him. 6.9% Scotch Ale. It's like right at the edge of like still being tasteful, not like gasoline cough syrup strong beer, but also getting the job done. There we go. All right, we have a little piezo beeper and some chips. Okay, what do we got? You know, this kind of reminds me of a calculator. I'm guessing this one's going to be RAM because it's got a -10V, which is the speed. There's also, looks like you could put two of them in. This one's probably the ROM, and that's going to be the CPU. Pretty straightforward. It's probably very much like a calculator. You know, Casio obviously made a lot of calculators. Temple of Doom was just, it was different. You know, it was like a different story. Like he gets thrust into the adventure, and then he doesn't even want to help, but then it's like, fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory. And Dan Aykroyd is in it. That guy who's like, I'm afraid there will be a slight inconvenience because you were traveling in a cargo plane full of live poultry. Madam, it's the best I can do at such short notice. Good heavens, aren't you Willie Scott? Do you remember the episode of the Ben Heck Show where we were in Detroit Maker Fair? I don't know what episode that. When did we film that? 2015? I was so sick when we filmed that. See, it's kind of funny, like, I was really sick when we did that, but we did it anyway. And I kept thinking the whole time, am I going to infect these people? Oh, it's a Hitachi chip. See, HD. Am I going to infect the people that I'm talking with? Like between every interview segment, I would go over and lay down on the floor with sunglasses on. So I was basically using hangover mode in order to like just stay. Well, I was doing like hangover tricks to stay cognizant for the filming. Oh man, that was probably the last time I was even that sick. It was bad. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because the place where we set up the camera right next to us in the Henry Ford Museum was one of those, I think it's made by Ford. It's like the DC-10 or the DC-7. It's basically the same kind of aircraft that Indiana Jones is in the beginning of Temple of Doom. So Max and I kept looking over at it, and it was like, nice try, Lao She. I was actually able to find a service manual for this thing, which includes schematics from 1995. Huh. It could be that the adhesive for the screen has failed, and that's why we're not seeing anything. Put this battery in. Doesn't look like it's contact. See how it's pushing that out of the way? I wonder, is that the problem? I suggest you give me what you owe me, or anything goes. It seems like the kind of situation where one false move would cause all of the keycaps to go flying. Now there is some residue here, which does make me think there might have been some battery corrosion. As I was getting beer to drink on the video, I thought, oh, maybe people will think it's a cry for help, and then it made me think of the Rick Astley song, Cry for Help. Why won't you hear my cry for help? Okay, still nothing. Attempting to turn on power. Let's look for signs of life. And it's not just like, oh, 20 or 30 years has passed. The capacitors must be bad. It's more like the capacitors might be bad. Okay, that power regulator's giving me something. Of course, that doesn't mean much. Recording still image. Okay. Is this regulator regulating? It is. I'm scraping this LSI chip. Oh, I got some square waves. Oh, it's definitely doing something. Crystal there. What do we got? And, well, it's off camera, but there's a 32.7 kilohertz sine wave. So, yes, this crystal is going to be acting as a real-time clock, which is why we're probably seeing activity on the chip. So, oh, there's RAM activity. Chip select would be here. Okay, the system is doing something, but there's nothing on the screen. I bet it's a bad connector. Like, these are basically glued in place. Ugh, mother puss bucket. Did they hide screws behind this sticker? Oh no, an X-Acto knife. Scary. I'm Scary Terry. Female dog. Between doing like graphic arts and then they did hide screws. Between doing graphic arts and then building things for a living, been using X-Acto knives probably like every day for 24 years. So you know what? If I'm gonna gash my hand open, it's better to do it halfway through life than in my 20s. Whoa. That giant controller there. Give me a second. I'm trying to make heads or tails of it. Yeah. Actually, if you look at it, a lot of it is thicker traces or multiple traces. Jeez. Either one of these could cause the display not to work. I'm pretty sure it is down to the display as to why it's not working. I just had a horrible, horrible, horrible thought. Contrast controls? Oh no, please no, please no. Nothing. Okay, whew, that's a relief. I've got pulses going to the LCD controller, although not a whole lot of them. Oh, there's a 430 hertz, mostly square wave going into the controller chip. Is the controller chip sending anything out? Maybe the controller chip is bad. I don't know, the connections to the screen might just be... I don't know if I can fix them. I gotta be honest, it's something with the screen. The screen is the culprit. So otherwise it looks like the data must flow. Yes, that was a Dune reference. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think I can get the screen to work on this one. And it's not really worth it because it's a $2 piece of junk from Goodwill. And I already drank more than $2 worth of beer. Maybe I'll keep the main circuit board. Otherwise, rip. Sorry, boss. You're no longer boss. Wow, those came up really easily. Which means the adhesive over here might be bad as well. Actually, the only thing that would really be of any use would be the RAM. What else we got? How about this Garmin? Found this at, of course, Goodwill. I want to say it was like $3. I figure worst case, we get a screen and a battery. Wait, why am I saying we? It's mine! Beer number 3. I'm taking apart this device with my iFixit kit. This video is not sponsored by iFixit. iFixit is a great product to fix things. There's 16 Jan Michael Vincents, but only one per quadrant. No, I would highly recommend an iFixit kit. I've got all the bits you'd ever need. And then if you don't have enough strength, you can stick a rod through here and gain torque. Yes, that's what the hole is for. Hashtag mind blown. Well, I saw this thing and I'm like, oh look, a USB mini port. That means there's a battery inside. No. Go to sleep forever. Stay a while. Stay forever. Right? Pretty good, right? Ghostbusters. I know, I'm amazing. Hey, that impression of a video game just made me think in Ghostbusters when Winston says, "This job is not worth $11,500 a year." I just checked inflationcalculator.com, which will probably be fudged after 2021. But anyway, $11,500 in 1984 is equal to $30,072 today, which comes out to $14 an hour. So that's right, A Ghostbuster starts at $14 an hour. I don't think in today's labor market you would be able to get someone to bust ghosts for $14 an hour. I could go work at a gas station and not be covered with slime, but you wouldn't get to ride around a cool ambulance and hang out with Ray. Which Ghostbuster would you want to hang out with? I would want to hang out with Ray. No, I'd want to hang out with Ray, because Egon is like techie, but he's like a dork. Probably my last choice would be, what's his name? Venkman, right? Because that guy, all he cared about was Sigourney Weaver. Well, I mean, you know, Sigourney Weaver is super cool, but he didn't care about catching ghosts. I actually still remember a joke from the Ghostbusters cartoon show, and he's like, I spent 2 years in college studying engineering before I realized it wasn't about trains. That's pretty good for a kid's show. Oh, I actually met Ernie Hudson at a convention once. Seemed like a cool dude. He keeps wanting to turn on. It's like, no, you're being taken apart. It's like, no, don't. Please, no. It sounds like the fake conversations I have with my cat. Oh, it's a Garmin branded battery. Call it fate, call it karma, but I believe we were destined to be kicked out of this, what was it, a college? Come on. There we go. Happy little clouds. Wow, the battery was made in Japan. All the best stuff is made in Japan. Doc, all we need is a little plutonium. What are you talking about, Marty? How can a chunk of plutonium by itself create electricity? Well, yourself in 1985 apparently figured it out. That doesn't make any sense. We use nuclear material to create heat. The heat is then generated into steam, and the steam drives a turbine. That's where the electricity comes through, Marty. I don't see a turbine in this DeLorean. Is that like the GPS antenna? Well, I'll be having that battery then. You know, honestly, if my Goo Gone was out in the garage, I don't know why. I have 2 bottles of the stuff. Where's the other bottle? Wasn't it like Janine liked, the secretary liked Egon? And she's like, do you have any hobbies? And of course he says, I collect spores, molds, and fungus. And she's like, do you like to read? And he's like, print is dead. And then she just starts talking about books. So she's not even listening to him. Oh, Ghostbusters. I mean, like when you're a kid and you watch Back to the Future, it's like, oh, plutonium. I've heard of that. That's really powerful. But then when you grow up and you understand how things work, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Nuclear-powered submarine, but it's really an electric-powered submarine. And the electricity is powered by steam, and the steam is powered by heat, and the heat is created by radioactive decay. Quite a few steps. I didn't notice any turbines on the DeLorean. There we go. I used the Goo Gone to eat the glue so I wouldn't accidentally bend the lipo and cause a catastrophe. Wait a minute, not just inflation calculator, but back calculator. Let's see, the online one uses a 5% ABV. Well, that beer is for wimps. This is a 6.9. Okay, so 5 divided by 6.9. 7. Oh, I did that backwards. 6.9 divided by 5. It's 138% times a beer. Let's see, I've drank 2.4 of them. 2.4. Oh, that's 3 beers. All right, let's put it in. Woohoo! I'm at 0.07. Does this arrow tell us how to open the can? Wow. Oh, what is that? MediaTek ARM? It is. Not a surprise. Well, the usual suspects. ARM, RAM, flash. This must be the GPS under. What is that big block? Is that how it finds the... Whoa! It's like a welded stud. Oh. Yeah. That must be connected to those solder points. Well, I turned the iron on anyway so I could remove the speaker. Because I'm going to take this speaker. I'll be having this there worm now then. We had that episode where Max was mad. And he's like, my name is Max and I'm mad. I'm sure we did that right around the time that Fury Road came out. Still the last best Hollywood movie. Max is like mad and he's wandering the wasteland. And I think I was a super mutant, like Fallout. But then Karen comes up and I think she's supposed to be like a one-handed scavenger or something. She steals his radioactive worm that he's going to eat for breakfast. And she says something to the effect of, I'll be having this there worm now then. The fake British accent. Oh, yeah, that must be some sort of isolated antenna thing. So that right there, that's probably your GPS chip. Yeah, so Karen says something to the effect of, I'll be having this there. I will be having this there worm now then. So it had like two contradictions of tense and possession. Was it Rick and Morty season 4? Yeah, where he's got the toilet seat. And he goes to that robot war, and there's like a lizard, a British lizard, and it picks apart the robot's brain and pulls out a microchip, and it's like, I'll be scalping for this bit then. And I laughed at that really hard because it reminded me of the dialogue from our crappy skit. Oh, Inalux. That's a very well-known brand. So I'm sure I could actually find a data sheet for this. Oh yeah, there's tons of numbers on it. I have no idea what Garmin's cost because I never bought one, and by 2012 I was already, using an Android phone. Quality components in this, What is this? American Addiction Centers, alcohol.org. Oh, man, it's a website called alcohol.org? That is so cool. I bet like Miller wishes it owned that. Let's see, I'm drinking and burping, so I guess I'm Rick now from aforementioned Rick and Morty. Oh yeah, cleaned up real nice. I'm Pickle Rick! Oh, finding the data sheet for this was easier than falling off a log. The resolution is pretty bad though. It's 480 by 272. Actually, that was pretty common. I think that was the screen in the PlayStation Portable, which was actually a very ubiquitous screen. And then the data format is 24-bit RGB. So, yeah, it would be very trivial to hook this up to something. So, yeah, we got a screen, a LiPo battery, and a speaker for only $3. Win! 6.9 divided by 5. 1.38 times 3, 4. Wow, that adds up quickly. All right, Morty, I'm gonna put 4 beers, Morty, and it's been 1 hour. Oh man, that's gonna mess with my average. Oh boy, I'm at 0.08. I am now legally drunk. I don't really feel that drunk. Of course, I live in Wisconsin. So that's the thing, like with drinking, it's like, oh, I only have 5 beers, officer, right? So it's usually the math is like with a 12-ounce beer. However, a pint is 16 ounces. So again, take 16 divided by 12, and a pint is actually 1.33 beers, right? So, yeah. So you have 4 pints, you're actually looking at like 5.5 beers. Because the average is a 12, well, for the calculations, it's a 12-ounce beer at 5%, 5% APV, so that's 2.66. I think you'd still, how come I can't, it says 266 beers? Okay. 266 beers, your blood alcohol content is 6.51%. You're probably not reading this because there's a good chance you're unconscious. No, you'd be dead. Let's call that 3 beers. I guess you'd you'd still be okay. But if you had 3 times 1.33, why am I even looking that up? The answer is 4. Yeah. Then let's see. Oh, yep. You're at the limit. What's next? How about some Amazon dash buttons? I actually ordered a few Amazon dash buttons, which are discontinued, by the way, off Amazon last week. The ones that I got were the older version. The difference is the older version has a soldered in lithium battery, whereas the newer ones have, well, you know, it's a standard spring loaded regular alkaline battery. I'm going to order some Gain. Did this guy actually order these products? What else has he got? Brita? Oh man, I really need a new water filter. I can't be bothered to use my computer to get it. Oh, it's a multicolored LED. Oh no, it's like, this is not the white? This is not the right Wi-Fi. I like how the button has a concavity to it. So dash buttons are discontinued now. They've been discontinued for a couple years. And if they hadn't have been discontinued a few years ago, they would certainly be discontinued now in these unprecedented times. Oh, Mega Seeds. These apparently have a Atmel SAM D51. The tech geeks among you probably know, familiar with the SAM D51. That's, I am hamming it up a little bit here with the alcohol. It's a 32-bit ARM Cortex M4. It's used in, well, I don't know. It's used in things like, what is Adafruit's? The M4 Gram Central. Oh, what the heck? Ooh. Oh, what? Something got ripped off of this one. Look at that. Huh. Man, these things were rode hard and put away wet. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, and thank you to Curtis, who sent these to me. He said he was basically just scavenging the batteries from them. Yeah, you know, these Mad Max times in which we live. It's like we've got to scavenge parts. I guess this is what it would be like in like Mad Max. Well, no, wouldn't you just go around like racing cars? I mean, would you even bother with this kind of stuff? I suppose you would. Look at those things in the sky. Those were satellites. They sent TV shows to people. This is still the last best Hollywood movie ever made. Oh no, this one's been damaged as well. You know what I think probably happened? Okay, Curtis, I appreciate you sending these in, but it appears that some brute force was used to break the ultrasonic welds. The original version of the dash button, you peel up the sticker and that would reveal the 3 screws. This new model, it's ultrasonically welded with the plastic. So there probably was, oh yeah, if you look at it, the brute force in each case happened on the side. Okay, so this one's probably okay. This one is a wash. It could be interesting. It's like I'm gonna have to edit it. Unless, of course, I think that, oh, this video is not worth editing. I was disappointed I couldn't get that Casio to work, but the electrical glue bonding fails unless there's only like 12 connections, like between the main PCB and the screen of a TI-83, in which case you just rewire manually. It's just too much. Oh, look, another ingress point right there. There's your problem. Okay, well, all right, no permanent damage from that one. So I ended up with 2 good ones, I believe. There it is, the Atmel AT-SAM D51. So yes, this is a Cortex M4 ARM chip. This is the kind of stripped down version. It's missing some things. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what they are. I think it's actually missing the cryptology. Is that the right way to say it? Cryptology? Cryptographic. Cryptology. Yeah, that makes sense. It's missing the You know, I normally don't try to say large words when I've been drinking. No, cryptology sounds like you're someone who knows about crypts, like Indiana Jones, and you're looking. Oh wow, you can really see that big V shape. You know what? My thumbs are even uglier now. You're just gonna have to hashtag deal with it. Wait, I think I got the data sheet for this. I think I'd have it on Microsoft OneDrive. Experience the wonders of Microsoft OneDrive today. Start your Office 365 subscription. Use promo code I don't care, and then your Pellington bike will get you some Dr. Squatch soap. I had to go to the bathroom, so I used the toilet in my basement. When the city assessor was here after I bought the place, I was like, look upon my 0.5 basement bathroom and my 1.5 bathroom house. And I'm like, please note how the 0.5 bathrooms is a toilet over by the washing machine. Please take that into account for your assessment. And I'm sure he's like, I'm still gonna mark it high. So I'm sorry, this isn't a D51, this is a G55, which is similar in some ways, but it's missing some things. It has USB, it has integrated circuit sound, up to 8, what they would call, what's that called? Surcoms, which would be I2C Spire, UART. Some things that it's missing DMA. The only thing on it that can use DMA is the USB port. Yeah, it's missing crypto. It's missing actually a good number of things. Okay, so I guess this isn't a D51. It's still very extravagant, especially when you look back. It's like the people in Mad Max Fury Road, the last best movie ever made. And they're like having to eat lizards and stuff. And they look up in the sky at the satellites that were used to deliver stupid reality programs, and they look at that decadence and they think, wow, what decadence that you could use a $500 million satellite to watch Naked and Afraid. Same thing, this chip, looking at it now through the lens of unprecedented, wow, that scar is noticeable, through the lens of unprecedented times, using this chip was decadence. There's no way this thing cost only $5. It was like a loss. Well, actually, no, in quantities it probably would. Oh yeah, so let's look around this thing. It's only beer number 4, huh? Okay, this is probably your boost converter. So you have 1.5 volts, you'd boost it up to about 3. So there's a coil here next to this chip. So and then of course next to this power rail. So I'm guessing that's probably what that does. That one, not sure. I think, well, there's going to be a Wi-Fi chip, Bluetooth Low Energy, and then probably some sort of data storage, which actually, well, no, the package of this. You know, I don't know, but there is this header here, which looks like, I'll zoom in on this. Digitally zoom in. There we go. So that's probably a power rail there. Then you've got about 5 I/O and then grounds. I'm guessing this port was probably used to program 2 different things, maybe like one of these support chips, and then hopefully, well, maybe the Atmel. So this is a SAM chip, so you're going to have a 2-wire programming, so you're going to have SWD and then SW clock, and then also on top of that you need reset. What would you really do with this? I mean, pretty much whatever you would do with it would have to involve Wi-Fi, because that's really all this is. It's a Wi-Fi node that orders you crap off Amazon. See, you would actually set these up by loading the Amazon app on your phone, and then you'd hold the dash button near your phone. Your phone would emit an ultrasonic frequency that would set up this device through that little hole right there into the microphone can, which means the sticker that says condoms or adult diapers or whatever, this sticker doesn't mean anything. You know, it's whatever you set it up to. Well, this is drunken teardowns, not drunken connected chips with Atmel Studio. So let's move on. .org. Voice record playback IC. Speaker out. Okay, this is all internal. Analog in, analog out. Microphone reference. Automatic gain control. Power supply voltages. Address buffer. So you've got 8 address lines, so that'd be 256. What are you exactly addressing? Because I thought, yeah, 128K cell, non-volatile. Oh, that's cool. Analog storage array. What the heck? Oh, maybe you can select what, because it said 20 seconds, so maybe you can select what particular section of the voice is played back. Device control, external clock, PD, not sure what that means. PR, oh, that's probably program or record, or playback or record, okay. CE is chip enable. EOM, low, I'm not sure. Aux in, oh, that's probably just, oh yeah, that's just have an external analog input. Okay, well, let's look at DIP 28. ISD, oh, okay, this isn't that old. The date code is 1995 of 43. Of 43, the year 1943. I'm sorry, 43rd week of 1995. I think about that sometimes, kind of like with Y2K. It's like, oh man, like how will we identify the chips? Only have 2 digits for the year. How will we identify them? In 2070. But it's like, well, I'm pretty sure that chips in 2070 will in no way resemble the ones from 1970, so it should be okay. I'll read this for everyone who can't read. ISD's patented direct analog storage technology, DAST, okay, that explains the chip, brings analog data into the semiconductor memory world. Is it actually recording analog data with non-volatile memory? This breakthrough, in quotes, if that was a news story, that means it's not true. EEPROM storage method, or double EEPROM, writes an analog data directly into a single cell without AD or DA conversion. Well, it would only be AD conversion, not DA conversion. Well, actually, no, because if you played it back, so is it an analog EEPROM? And by analog, I mean it would store the analog amplitude of a waveform of your voice. This results in an increase in density over equivalent digital methods and non-volatile storage of analog data. You only need a few external components, a microphone, loudspeaker switches, and a few resistors and capacitors, and a power supply or battery to build a complete voice recording, and playback system. All the devices, blah, 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 are built into the chip. And then there's that's kind of cool how they folded it in such a way that the schematic was on the back. This would scare you away if you didn't know what anything meant, which I probably didn't back in the 90s. Oh, here you go. Pin description. Is Ben just going to read to us? Yes. Now shut up. Okay. Defines a starting address for a message or sets device to an operation mode. Okay, so you could have multiple messages. Okay. Speaker, analog digital power supply. Okay, the microphone preamp can amplify 1 to 20 millivolt signals. This preamp has a 10K ohm impedance and a 24 decibel maximum gain. This inverting input of the microphone preamp. Okay. Oh, okay. CE, chip enable. This pin starts play and control, record operate. Okay, well, yeah, chip enable. PD is power down. Okay. Controls the power down, resets the memory after the device records or plays to the end. Overflow. Resets the memory. Well, resetting the memory would erase your voice, wouldn't it? Oh, end of message. I bet. 16 millisecond wide low pulse during play to indicate a message is finished. End of message. All right. External clock, normally connected to ground. This enables the internal clock. You can also drive it with an external 819 kilohertz TTL level clock, which means this thing is going to sound really bad. Oh, and then PR is record or play mode. Okay, cool. How it works. The blah, blah, blah is an analog sample data system with on-chip microphone, preamp, AGC, anti-aliasing, and smoothing filter, storage array, speaker driver, control interface, and internal precision reference clock. Difference between the blah, blah, blah and the competing storage device technologies is that blah, blah, blah requires no analog digital or digital analog converters. As blah, 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 blah takes each sample, it temporarily stores in a sample and hold circuit, and then it eventually records it into a single EEPROM cell. What is a cell? Since recording is the equivalent of 8 bits of accuracy, okay, that's not super great, it requires 1 megabyte of digital memory, blah, 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 to equal the 128,000 cells. Okay, well, how long is in each cell? Stores 20 seconds. Well, I guess, well, yeah, so 128,000 divided by 20 is, well, oh, it's 64,000. Okay. Oh, duh. Hashtag math. 128,000 cells, 20 seconds,
128,000 divided by 20 is 6.4 kilohertz. That would probably sound... That's like telephone quality. I mean, it could be worse. On-chip filters perform the anti-aliasing during recording and smoothing during play that is necessary for good-sounding samples. Each memory location contains one analog voltage sample. To record, set up the address you want to start recording at in the address inputs. Set PR low, set PD low, set chip enable low. Recording begins and continues as long as you hold chip enable low. Recording stops when it goes high. Okay. To play, set the address you want, blah, blah, blah. Set PR high, set PD low. Oh, okay. So it's either basically, it's always recording or playing back. Interesting. It must record at the same speed that it plays, and by record, I mean writes to the EEPROM. I should specify double EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, which is why I can write it as fast as it reads, because it's not... Well, actually, no, not even that, because usually a lot of modern EEPROMs, like the one that's recording this video, it takes them longer to record than... it takes them longer to write than it takes them to read. Each bit in the address would be 0.125 seconds, so even before you get to the 20-second limit, you're going to use up what you would have in an 8-bit address, which means the last 64 bits can be used for something else, because you're not going to have this bit pattern of 1, 1, and A7 and A6. Well, I guess I've got to do this. All right, here is the chip. This chip was sitting in your mom's garage for 25 years. Buried in the sand for 1,000 years, and even it becomes worth something. Come on, now touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made? Why won't you tell me what he said? What was that promise that you made? I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop the rain. I'm gonna love you. Oh, why isn't he using the Ben Eater style jumpers? I've got the Ben Eater style jumpers. I'm still in a dream, Ben Eater. And let's see, AGC pin 19, blah, 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 to ground. You want some? Huh? Yeah. Come get it. Oh, wait, that's playback or record. You know, I think I can feel the alcohol affecting me. Yes. There is no denying it. Let's see. This is program record. Playback record. Whatever. And the upper one is CE, which of course is always going to be active low. Oh. Try not to cut off my finger. Success. To tie all these address lines to ground so we can set where the message starts. It's weird, it's 8-bit, but it skips like 2 of the pins. Kind of strange. That's probably connected. Ish. Give or take, carry the 1. I think the circuit's working, but I think I have the wrong kind of microphone. Like if I go to record, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And if I play it back by pushing CE, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. It's kind of like that movie Contact. Well, we recorded static, but we recorded 18 hours of static. So it recorded the right length, but didn't record anything. So I think it's something with a microphone. What's that, bud? You are a cat? You are an orange cat. And you are large. But you are a good cat. That's a camera. Uh-huh. Sniff all the wires. Yeah. Okay, it's the morning after. Couldn't get it to work because it didn't have the right kind of microphone. I'll go to Goodwill and buy any piece of crap that might have a microphone in it. An electric microphone, and then hopefully we can get this to work. It's recording, it's just not, it's recording and playing back, it's just not recording audio waveforms. Okay, I found this cordless handset telephone thing. It's got to have a microphone, right? Maybe I should have ate dinner before I did a video where I drank beer and tried to fix things. I can definitely feel, well, I wouldn't say I'm hungover, but I definitely feel like I drank a bunch of beer without eating dinner. Oh, there it is, the electric microphone. It's weird they have a spring clamp on the speaker. I've never seen that before. I think they made me pay $2 for this phone. Oh, what a rip. But then it's like $2.10 with tax. They didn't ask me to round up for charity. That whole thing last year, round up for charity. You know what that was really about? Was about the coin shortage. Well, some places would actually Goodwill was like, due to a coin shortage, we would ask you if you'd like to round up for charity. So that's cool. This looks like it's just a monochromatic screen. Oh, there's what we need. Well, look at it this way. I couldn't have driven to the Goodwill and gotten a piece of junk microphone because I was drunk. And also Goodwill would have been closed. So double whammy. Let's try it again. Record chip enable. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. Seems a little slower. Let me try speaking a different tone of voice. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. We've been together for so long. You know the rules, and so do I. What's this going on? Let's... Must be picking up interference from something. I can take solace in the fact that I did wire it up correctly while drunk. I just didn't have the right microphone. You know, I often just throw microphones away or I put them in the same bin as the speaker. So I'm going to create a special bin just for microphones, and I'm not going to throw them away anymore in the future. I'm a changed man.